moments of short-term highs, but it never really gave us anything that was sustained in reality. And if we really want Web3 to grow, someone needs to crack this, right? And Tribe feels like we're one of the few that at least have a interesting handle or swing on this. Doesn't mean that we're going to be perfect. It doesn't mean we're going to be the only ones, but we do believe that we're going to put a meaningful attempt. And that's all I can do as a founder, right? That's literally all I can do as a founder is put out meaningful attempts for sustainability and value. So, I mean, we're actually still just as active. It's kind of funny. We're in build mode. We're still active with our voice, but we are slowing down some of the actions in our server for now, and for good reason, right? You're going to see our opportunity grow much larger with what we are building, right? So this build mode, means that we've been doing village market less, we've been doing poker less, we've been doing some game events less. And it's not because we don't value that stuff. We actually massively value that stuff. But I want to be like very clear, all that stuff is short-term stuff for now, right? The long-term stuff is the engine we're trying to build, right? This opportunity that we're trying to scale. And that's really where I think a big layer of value is going to be created, and we want to spend more time towards that. So, what are we doing in this build mode? Well, we're doing a couple of things. One is we are first and foremost shoring up our primary products. And there's kind of three primary products that are relevant for the wider market. And that effectively is, Rodin, Oath, and Reapers. All three of those projects are relevantly getting their final touches. Oath is done, right? But Reapers is getting a extended update due to some of the choices and the decisions and the votes. And then Ronin is like 99% done, just getting some narrative and partnerships in line. So what's really nice is that those primary assets are already pushing forward. The next primary asset that we are getting ready for as well is Soul. So you guys will be getting soulbound claims here very shortly as we get the stack ready. And there's three claims for that. There will be a comic book claim, there will be a art claim, and then there will be a PFP claim. We're already in the last stages of finalizing the PFP core design. We've actually already presented to Diamonds 3 different versions of the PFPs, and we're now just refining the last little take here as well. So the nice thing is that we're going to be filling your wallets, and especially on the Soul side, all these claims are going to cost you zero, claim costs. It is just purely gas costs. Right. And again, the nice thing about this market is gas is somewhat cheap. What's nice about that as well is that these windows will stay open as well for extended periods of time. You don't have to worry about anything on that front of gas wars or any bullshit like that. You'll have a nice open window for all your claims. So we have that as a whole nother pocket, right? Which is really exciting and really valuable now of where we're going. Then the third bucket, right? I mean, goddamn, we already have these two huge buckets, and and this is kind of where we're moving forward to now here as well, right? Is that our big challenge now is this village partnerships. This has actually probably been the thing that's taking more of our time than we expected in a good way. We are starting to find really amazing projects and major in meaningful partners to kind of scale with as well. So we are very excited about Jungle. We have Weebox technically in 5 days. They're not a full village partner, but they are a Trust and Diamonds partner. We're activating some more. Something is minting. We have one later today with Galaxis, and I think tomorrow with Byte City. I'm actually going to post those out here in the next few minutes here as well. Actually, I'll post them while we're on this chat, so you guys, I could force you guys to retweet that shit. Uh, amplify a little bit here, because again, we want to now start going into that mode. There are other major village partnerships in negotiations. To be very transparent, we are taking a very big swing, and you're going to see village level up, right? You're going to see village really figure out an opportunity to be a differentiator in the market, but also potentially become the sustainable core business model for tribe. If we get this right, like I said, we can probably move mountains, and that's what we're going to really, take a challenge on at the moment right now, right? We really are going to be focusing on this whole design of where we are going, right? Where this, product is going, where these things are going to evolve. We really care about getting this stuff right. So it's a lot of stuff we're building. And that doesn't even cover everything as well. The crazy thing is there's a whole thing about tabula rasa that's being built, right? Which is a whole nother engine of comic books and setting up the PFP art for Fury. There's, I mean, the one-of-one PFPs that are being created for diamonds are on a whole nother level. This thing will end up becoming the most unique, distinct, and true art collection in PFPs, because it will be truly personal PFPs. I think personal PFPs are going to be a huge element of impact in this long-term journey, right? Which is, I think, going to be really, really important, um, as we try to figure out a new narrative, a new opportunity in Web3 and around NFTs. And this build mode is important because while we're building, everyone else is collapsing. Everyone else is collapsing. It has been a very hard 6 months for the market. Again, I mean, the gods, we're talking about the gods at 4.2 ETH now, right? It's actually nuts if you see the movement of floor prices of some of these tier one assets, right? From Azuki to, to the gods to, Bored Ape. It's been a brutal period and stretch here, of liquidity being lost from the market. So what we're really trying to do is that you're going to see a lot more opportunities that are coming that are going to get stronger and healthier. Our goal is not to push crap to you guys. One of the biggest problems here that we see generally is that people are always still focusing on short-term options, right? And this was like a huge part of the conversation, right? Is that don't optimize for short term. If you guys want us to throw crappy stuff in Village, we can. Don't complain when you lose your relics, right? That's the hard challenge in this market, is that we have to protect it. What has been worth minting in the last 3 weeks? Can anyone tell me anything that was worth minting, right, in the last 3 to 4 weeks? Like, clearly almost nothing, right? It's been brutal, right? So then what are we gonna feed you into the Village market? You want more trash? Like, no. You want high risk stuff? No, right? You want stuff that has solid foundations, that you're willing to allocate your time for this as well, right? And I think that's why it's a very important thing to get right, right? Is that, there's so many few things that can sustain, that have good buying power and good value here as well in this market. So, we are figuring out more things. We're trying to find more free mints, right? And to be honest, right, like it's been very, very difficult to kind of scale. And that's just indicative of the market. And that's actually the brilliance about Village Market. Village Market is also a tool to let you know just what's even happening in the space that's worth our excitement. And there's nothing, right? This is how bad the market's essentially been for a decent amount of time. And even Village Market for the last couple of months has been slowish. I think the nice thing is that we have Jungle and Weebox, right? Which I think a lot of people were meaningfully excited about here, right? But again, the big challenge here is, when will these projects launch? When will they scale? Will they have enough buy pressure on secondary? These are all real challenges that we're going to have to find out collectively together. So I hope you guys are down for this journey. I hope you guys are up to learn a little bit more about where these things are going. But you have to recognize that our biggest opportunity for Tribe is to honestly keep building, right? Just keep building, keep aggregating, keep compounding, keep scaling. And we are building a silent beast, right? We are building this amazing entity that still very few people understand. Like, very few people understand what is actually happening behind the scenes at Tribe. And it is incredibly quiet. We are stealthy in our approach. We have this huge active audience. We have these amazing partnerships. If you've been here since the start, no one competes with us on whitelist allocations. No one delivered more net ETH via whitelist allocations in this market, right? No one. No one has beat this organization. Like, I honestly, pound for pound, when it comes to whitelist allos, no one beats us. And I think that's something I'm really proud of, because it means that the rest of the market is understanding our value to an extent. And we're still being silent. We're still scaling up. We're still getting these things right. So, what I need from you guys is to trust us in this build mode, right? Trust us in this kind of opportunity there, right? And that's kind of the big thing that we're trying to scale. And yeah, man, I think there's a lot of things that we could charge more for if we wanted. And that's what I love about our design. Our design still is, you only really have to pay one time $20 at the most to be able to get access to this entire ecosystem. Right? Like, what other world has that type of price point into this ecosystem? Nothing. Nothing with this type of value that is being generally created, and you get to test it, try it, feel it, and more importantly, you get rewarded for it as well without needing to put a huge cost basis out. We're not risking your ETH, we're adding to your ETH. That's what we really want to be as an organization, right? And of course, right, our upside here as well is that for those of you who continue to participate even more, you get more rewards, which I think is fair. I think it's a great way of balancing the value and the concurrency of this community. It's nuts coming in here and seeing similar faces over and over again. And it's not just them just sitting in the chat, it's them actually communicating in chat. It's diamond users who fucking for some reason keep showing up, right? It's Oath, it's Reapers, it's Ronin. We have all of it. And that's the other amazing thing, is just like, look how diverse the ecosystem has already been built, right? We haven't minted, right, any of the identities, but you guys realize you guys are rocking Lost Realms, you're rocking Tribe Cloaks, you're rocking Rodent Flags, you're rocking Tabula Rasa PFPs, you're rocking Reaper's Cloaks, right? You're some of you are even rocking Lost Realms Act 2. Like, it's actually pretty nuts, right? In that in this is one ecosystem, right? Which is kind of amazing. Some of you have access to allocations to some of the partners as well that we've been giving out. And that's kind of what's been so beautiful here, is that we've built already like our own diverse way of how we think Web3 can be. Man, some of you are even rocking the jungle logo, right? Which is hilarious. I love it, right? Because again, I do not care, right? You guys do not have to wear your cloaks in here if you do not want to. If you want to represent something else, feel free. Your cloaks will have utility later, but again, we want you to choose whatever you prefer your identity. It could be your own face, it could be another PFP. Someone's got a pizza slice here, right? The only thing I don't like, I'm gonna call out the people, are the people who use just the lame same Discord logo animation because you haven't updated it. I'm gonna call you out, Katie. Come on, Katie. What are you doing, Katie? Are you just a alt, Katie? I wonder if Katie's an alt. Let's see if Katie will talk to us. Katie! Katie with your fake Discord bot. Hold on. Come on, Katie. Will Katie talk to us? I don't know if Katie's real. Katie probably isn't real. Katie! Katie! She's probably not real. There are always some alts here and there. Katie! Katie, I know you're there. All right, we're gonna kick Katie. I'm gonna disconnect Katie, and I'm gonna see if Katie comes back. Let me see if I can. I think I disconnected Katie from it. Hold on. We'll see. Yeah, okay. Katie's left. We'll see if Katie comes back. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could get relics, man. There's ways to bot anything in this world. Let's see if Katie comes back. I'm curious if Katie was a real person. Katie looks like a fake person, to be very honest. And that's the other thing. Like, we know, guys, there's so many like people who also want to try to build alts, and that's like a good thing about our ecosystem, to be honest. Just to let you know, if people aren't trying to get alts for your project, you're not doing a good job. Like, to be very honest, that's such a bullish sign when people realize that the value of this ecosystem is worth botting, right? It doesn't mean we want to let them do it, but that's actually a good sign, right? Because people are seeing the value and they're willing to set up more of their resources to get the upside here as well. Ah, Katie's there. Katie responded. Katie had to switch between multiple alts. Katie! Katie's got both souls, but Katie doesn't like talking, and Katie wants to use just a Discord bot. But we've digressed. It's funny. It's always funny to kind of see all this stuff here as well. Because again, this ecosystem needs to consistently be protected, right? We need to keep adding more and more value, more and more upside to the world that we're building. And in order to do that, it means that there's going to be more people who are going to try finding ways to break those rules, right? That's always a part of any of these type of rewarded based social ecosystems as well. So we have to keep our guard up. And when we're building, what that also means is that we're protecting. You guys realize, right? We've kicked out over 100 oath, right? 100 oath already have been kicked out. Like we're taking it, and these oath are not getting redistributed. There's only there's less than 10 oath just left. Just to let you know, it is going to be very small, right? It is a very small amount of oath left because oath is getting into it. We don't do redistribution. Redistribution is the dumbest thing. I'm not looking to add dilution. Get the fuck out of here. I'm here to protect the value of oath, and oath goes up more and more over time, right? And there is more supply that's being added on top of that oath because there's diamonds and team aloe, right, that go in. But you're seeing us continue drop and making sure the likelihood of short-term flippers will be low. And I'm telling you, your engagement matters for oath, right? Like your massive engagement matters for oath. You need to really, really make sure, right, that you are in a really good position in terms of your support to this community. The people who have oath and have not been active, they're not gonna love it. They're not gonna love the way that the rewards are. The rewards are always going to be aligned for active users over time. And I think that's like the powerful thing of where we're going now is that we've shown you the incentives of being active. We've shown you the incentives compounding across the board. We are not done yet. We have surprises coming at every angle, right? We just have a huge, huge chance to get this right. And what our entire value is, right, is we are aligning ourselves as builders with community members that are also actively supporting. And that's where I get really excited because in the end, right, our challenge now becomes very simple. It becomes the simple challenge of, can I keep giving you guys consistent rewards as we scale up? If I can do that, right, we can be in a much better position, right, for the organization as well. So, what do we try to get right? Right? Well, we need to get our priorities of what we're building right. That means that, hey, there's going to be a few things that are going to be deprioritized. That is what a good business is always trying to do when they're in the trenches. We want to make sure that our time is going to as many items that are going to lead to 5x, 10x opportunities, right? And that's the biggest challenge here, is that we need to constantly be asking ourselves, what are those things? And Tribe is being introduced to a lot of things and a lot of opportunities. So we need to be constantly on our game. We need to be constantly asking ourselves, right? How do we, increase the value? How do we get you more allocation? How do we, ensure the support and interest for every new project we're launching? If we can do that, right, we get to a very, very healthy position for this entity and for this company as well. So we still have a lot more, right? We're still building, we're still evaluating. There's probably gonna be another 20-ish oath cut, realistically. Dude, there's also been a ton of Reapers cut. Oh my god, what was this last vote here, real quick? It was pretty amazing, actually. So how many senators are we down? We are now down to, we're under 800 now, which is dope. We're under 800 current senators at the moment, 797. In the last couple of weeks, we've revoked 250 senators. That's nuts. And then also, the best thing about this is, look at the voter turnout. I think it was 780 out of like 817 or something like that. I mean, I think we're like at close to a 95, 96%, right? Value prop, like, sorry, voter turnout. Bro, we're like the greatest voter turnout ecosystem in the world. This is amazing. This is insane. This is kind of a huge opportunity for us to show that we can actually do collaborative voting and it doesn't suck. Where we don't have a vote this week, I'll give you a little bit of alpha or a little insight on Reapers. I hate saying the word alpha. I got to get rid of that. Little insight on Reapers. Reapers will be introducing a new storyline this week. You're going to see a little bit of a diversion. You guys just chose what the first characters are. You just chose what the first product roadmap deliverable is. And now you're going to see kind of the storyline change based off the choices you made in the first few votes. And it's going to be dynamic. It's going to be really interesting. And you're going to see some really cool opportunities here in this kind of world and kind of where we're trying to go to the next level. So we have some cool things coming. We have some cool journeys opening up. We'll have some bigger storylines that are going to kind of open in this design. There won't be any more Reaper auctions. Like Reapers and Oath are done pretty much essentially, right? Which is pretty exciting because those are now locked in that design. There will be some small allocation, but those are mainly going externally. You guys realize all of our supply for Reapers went internal only. It was 100% allo was only to the internal community at this point, right? Which is nuts, right? Same thing with Oath, was like everything that you're seeing here was essentially internal community. There are a few like weird partners and stuff that are still involved that we added them in through this process. But again, if they're not scaling, right, they're not going to get any of these elements here as well. Bro, we are not giving kite. Why would you think we give kaiju? You guys, we need good communities that align with us, bro. Like kaiju's got to figure out their own shit. I hope their next mint next week figures out something. But no, we are going with very tier one aligned communities that are building with us. There are some very, very strong communities that will be getting this here as well. So we're gonna kind of make sure we're finding the right partnerships on what we're doing here, which will be really great. And we're gonna keep our supplies as low as possible. We have redistribution is the dumbest thing. Nah, man. If you guys want it, earn it. You have plenty of chances to earn everything in this ecosystem. If not, stack your relics for the next opportunity. There's more than enough opportunities here for our ecosystems, and you're going to see it as well. You're going to see, dude, next week, the village is going to have some pretty cool stuff, right? You'll start seeing more things coming into the village ecosystem. You're going to see, I mean, I think village will probably start by Friday. I think this Friday here, actually, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. Let me look at the calendar really quickly. Oh yeah, Village. I'm gonna open up Village auctions this Friday. I'm gonna add it to the calendar real quick. One sec. Oh, geez, Louise. What is this? What date are we? We're looking at the 16th. So I need this for the 17th and the 18th. Quanch. Okay, this is at 7. Okay, I'm gonna do this at 10 p.m. Sorry, I was just trying to make sure my calendar's all set. So this will be 10 p.m. Local here. Uh, Village restock for real. We're gonna show some cool stuff coming in there. And then let me upload Village. Or give me just a second. Just getting through everything that we have. Oh, I'll use the one of the first. Let me see if this will fit. It doesn't fit as well. Never mind. I was gonna use like the first concept logo for Village, which was really cool way back in the day. I'll just use like one of these base logos. I'll use this banner one. Okay. Apply. New partners. New allo. Let's go. Okay. Next. Create event. Okay, and I'll share this with you. Here we go. Share. We're gonna move this one. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna add. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna spend 5 minutes and add some surprise shit for you guys, which will be cool. Give me just a second. So here we go. So there's the village restock. So you guys will be able to join that event. And then here I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna add a couple events roles. Oops, sorry. No, I want to do create event stage somewhere else. Hidden location. Actually, no. I'll add this later. Sorry. I have a few other like surprises along the way, so I wanna make sure we get all of this right. So let me get this to next week. I wanna start updating everything correctly today. Okay, we're good. Council roundtable's good. Village restock is good. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, we got more surprises, more things here as well, on this kind of design. So definitely join in for that village restock if you want that day. I mean, again, if you can't make that live event, that's fine. It's a late Friday evening in the Europe and in the Middle East. So yeah, you don't have to show it to live, but it will run for like we'll do a bunch of auctions running and events running, and you're gonna see the new village where it's gonna be gated by your role, right? You've seen a couple of those tests where some were fair raffles just for Genesis Soul, some were for just Soul Season 2. You're gonna see how a lot of different opportunities are gonna come together here. I think the challenge now is that our opportunity behind this product and behind Tribe is really now getting these pieces together. Like let's build something actually worth keeping. Let's build something that's actually worthy of our time and our attention, right? Build something worthy, right? That's really what I want you guys to realize is what Tribe is trying to do, right? Like and if we can build something that is worthy of our time, build something that can sustain and grow, actually can be independent, that doesn't need to extract, right? You're gonna find a huge, a opportunity in this kind of design and opportunity in this kind of world. And you're going to see us get better allocations and better opportunities and better products and better partnerships. All of these stuff are going to be getting better, right? And I think this is kind of why I'm so excited to be in the trenches here with each and every one of you. As we kind of wrap up here, let me tell you about a couple of things that are probably relevant. One sec. Let me just get this right. So I'm doing like three things at the same time. One is we're going to announce uh some village partnerships end of this week and early next week. Um we plan to announce one this week and we plan to announce one probably next week or within the next 2 weeks. So you're going to see some new village partners coming in, which will be pretty exciting. Definitely not Sugartown. I'm super bearish on Sugartown, just to let you all know. I hope Sugartown figures it out on that. But no, like we are bearish on Sugartown on this front. We're definitely not looking at that all at these points. We have a few more different things, right? Where in this design. Now, Vincent, all your ideas suck. I don't want your ideas. I don't want any of your product ideas, guys. I want I want very little product ideas from our community. I'm gonna be very honest. Because you guys are all short-term thinkers still in a lot of ways. Right? I'm gonna be blunt. So many of you guys are short-term thinkers, right? All you want is some type of opportunity for liquidity for yourselves, not for the health of this ecosystem. Anyone who's recommending a mint now is a bad actor because you don't give a fuck about the entity. You only care about yourself. I'll be hard on you guys. I'm gonna be hard on my own community, right? Like this is kind of the biggest thing here in this design is that if you are optimizing for short-term outcomes for yourself, you are what is the problem about Web3, right? You are contributing the problem that is Web3. Bro, the god just lost 100 million market cap, bro. Like Zuki just lost 200 million market cap. Why the fuck would you do anything in this space right now? Why? Right? And like you got to really understand this, right? Is that your design and your feedbacks are when geared to short-term outcomes kill what Tribe is doing, right? Like kill what Tribe is doing, right? And it's the dumb thinking here, right? Your goal is not to be the short-term outlier. Your goal is to figure out something that exceeds the opportunity in the long term. Think through that. Think through that framework. Think through that design. Think through that opportunity, right? Because again, right, there's a reason why every DAO has failed. DAOs run by holders are the dumbest fucking things in the world, right? That's the honest truth. You guys as a collective community will never be able to operate a business or make good business decisions, right? That's the honest truth, right? Every DAO has failed in doing that. And it doesn't matter, dude, DAOs have the most capital. Bro, do you know how many DAOs have over 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, 50 million? Name of things that DAOs are doing well, fucking nothing, right? Like, and this is the challenge that we have is that a lot of you guys think you're smarter than you are. I'm gonna keep it real. Most of you are not smart when it comes to Web3. Most of you are dumb as fuck, right? And it's not because you're not trying, it's because understanding this market is one of the hardest things in this space, period. Period. Like, I am dumb as fuck when it comes to shitcoin, right? Like, literally, when it comes to shitcoins, I am dumb as fuck, right? And I'll be honest, right? If someone's like, "Hey, you want to do this shitcoin?" I'm like, "Why? What do I do? Why would I put into this? I don't get it. This is dumb. Why would I give you any strategy? Why do you think I never talk about shitcoins with you guys? Because I know where my experience and expertise lies, right? And it's not in that category. I am very competent when it comes to NFT based projects. That's my competency. But it's because I lived it, breathed it, and focused on this for 2 straight years as a builder, not as a collector. Almost every collector, almost every gamer always thinks, because I've dealt with this my whole life. I want to be very honest. God knows how long I've worked in mobile gaming, and everyone who plays a mobile game thinks they could design a better game, right? They can't. They're dumb as fuck, right? Just because you're a consumer of an asset doesn't mean you understand the production of that asset, right? And that's a thing that's hard for a lot of people to understand, right? And again, it's one of those things that becomes a challenge in this space because, yes, we want to empower the community, but the community needs to know its lane, right? You need to put them in the right lane of where they're going, right? And this is kind of why this challenge becomes such a hard process, is that a lot of people get out of their lane, right? Like, a lot of these people who are influencers, and again, when I'm saying just you guys, I'm not saying just our community, I'm saying the collective Web3 community is dumb as fuck. Bro, the bad amount of takes left and right on Twitter that are getting massive retweets is hilarious, right? The guys who don't understand anything about business structures are trying to help you understand how these guys should be building a business. No. Guys who've never managed a single team are trying to give feedback to people who are managing teams of dozens, if not hundreds. Dumb. Get out of the way. You are not actually helping this industry. You are draining this industry, right? The amount of people who think they could do PFP art because they're a collector of art. Get the fuck out of here, right? Just because you're a consumer of something doesn't mean that you're a builder of it as well, nor do you even have relevant builder thought. And that's a hard framework for a lot of people to share, right? And that's why I'm going to be hard on you guys when you say a lot about this stuff. Because again, a lot of your design ideas are dumb because you're a collector and not a builder, right? And there are two totally different opportunities here as well. And that's the challenge, right? Doesn't Don't get me wrong, diamonds know I take a shit ton of feedback from them, right? I have to push back on certain things as well, right? But they're a little bit more qualified on some of this feedback, but they're also sometimes, like, I'm dumb as fuck in some categories, they're dumb as fuck in some categories, right? Like, the amount of people that are super dumb as fuck, right, when it comes to tokenomics and design is way too high. They don't really understand this as well. So I use this term overtly dumb as fuck because it is something that is will catch your attention. I'm not actually saying you guys are the fucking dumbest humans in the world, right? What I am trying to say is I'm trying to alert you with the boldness of that statement of, I might not know as much as I thought, right? And I think that's a really important thing that you want to do, right? This is actually why I love South Park. South Park is like so overtly crude to be able to drive home points that are really, really meaningful, right? So this is kind of why, like, I'm in a very, very, aggressive position here because this market needs aggressive, right? Positions, right? And this is kind of why, right? And this is kind of where this whole challenge becomes in this design, right? Is that, can you actually get, right, a product that, sustains and gets people to focus on a long-term outcome together? And the honest truth is everyone has failed. Everyone has failed, right? Like, no one is building anything sustainable. right? So, like, why would I listen to anyone at this point in this market to a certain extent, right? Like, literally, nothing has succeeded in a healthy way, right? It goes back to my favorite question to ask. If you remove mint funds, royalties, and venture capital, how many companies are profitable? How many Web3 companies have delivered a recurring business model that currently drives more revenue than the cost of the business to attain that revenue? How many? Fucking, it is hard to name one or two, right? What? This is kind of the biggest thing that you want to understand, right? There's literally almost close to none. This whole market, like, honestly, took advantage of you and you let it happen. You let it happen. You guys allocated time and capital to projects and builders that weren't ready for it. And you continue to promote these guys in a blind way. None of you are actually doing diligence and research on all of these projects. Bro, it sucks, dude. I've done diligence on almost all of these founders. I've chatted with them directly. It is brutal. These guys are not ready. Many of you are wearing their PFPs, and I will be very blunt. You are in for a hard time, right? Do not understand how fucked most of these founders are. You do not understand how much money most of them have already lost, right? It is going to be, yeah, a true rude awakening over the next 6 months. It is going to be a stretch of death. It is going to be a stretch of just projects giving up or having no other option to shutting down. It's going to be one of those two things. And that's the problem, is that you guys aren't even holding these people accountable. There's a lot of you who are rocking PFPs of projects that are honestly garbage, right? They honestly are. And it's not because they're garbage because they're not trying. They're garbage because they have no business model. Why are you supporting a project with no understanding of growth or scale or sustainability? Why? You shouldn't. You really shouldn't, right? And that's the challenge here, is that this market doesn't want to have that conversation. This market is so biased to their bags that they're not able to step back and ask ourselves, why the fuck am I allocating capital like an angel investor and not getting even equity in this business? And at the same time, these guys don't even know how to build a sustainable, profitable business that lasts more than 12 months. Why? Why? Like, this is kind of the understanding that a lot of people don't like really want to question out loud. And you are all to blame. We are all to blame. We collectively are putting our time and money and assets to these organizations, right? And that's the sad part. You need to be looking at for these signals, right? You need to be finding people who want to build sustainably. If you could change your framework there, right? A framework there, right? And actually start understanding what are projects that are going to sustain, you might actually survive this market. You might actually end up getting stuff that is true blue chip material. And what do I define as blue chip? A product that will continue to sustain value due to the merit of the quality of it or the health of the business model behind it, right? And that's why realistically the only blue chips are art, because you don't need a functional business model for art. Art is pure collection for value. Everything else at this point, right, is dead, right? And you need to figure out now what will be sustainable. I'm bearish on games, right? So if you ask me about Pixelmon, you ask me about this stuff, it's not interesting to me. It's not, right? Mainly because they're building games for the wrong audience. How many like why do you think I also turned down like and stopped like prioritizing our turn-based RPG loop? How many more fucking turn-based RPG games do you guys need? Like, bro, how many more does this market need? I think we're literally at a point of like a turn-based RPG game for every 10 active users in this market, right? No, you don't need any more. You guys, this is where you're totally wrong. No one gives a fuck about Web3 games. None of you guys are actually playing legitimately a Web3 game and going, wow, this is the most fun I've ever played in this category. Fuck that. You're only playing a game if you're grinding that shit, right? Like in this front, because you believe that's the only way to get profit. Everything else is garbage. Bro, like, okay, I still don't understand how any of you play Pirate Nation. Like straight up, like I don't understand it. Like it is the most boring product experience I've ever seen. I cannot like kill me before I play a click-based game that is just like collecting shit. Fuck that stuff. Castaway is a little bit more interesting because it's kind of more of the open sandbox design, right? But I also don't think Castaways is I'm curious to see if Castaways will be able to build the unique audience they think they can capture in a very competitive market. There's a lot of these open sandbox like games, that have been spurred from Minecraft. Very interesting to see where this is going to go, right? But realistically, almost all these things are like garbage. I'm glad, Adrian, you're somehow still playing the Everseed Tower Defense game. First of all, that game's so old now. Bro, that shit was on Soul like fucking years ago, it feels like. I've already forgot about that. Bro, it's like such an outdated thing now at this point because God knows where that game is going and that company is going. Right? I mean, you guys don't even play like how many of you even play Wild Card? Right? Like what like who even cares about Wild Card? These guys actually built a full AAA game. Which is kind of, I don't know, a little bit of League of Legends meets, I don't know, some weird it's a weird MOBA meets hybrid kind of design, which is interesting. Right? And what you end up seeing just generally is games are one of the biggest myths that users want when in reality they don't. They really don't, right? And I think this is where a lot of you guys are going to struggle with realizing the market doesn't care about casual games. They don't. Casual and mid-core games will most likely die, right? Let's say casual core is what I'd call it. Maybe better mid-core to hardcore will be a lot more interesting here at this kind of design. But in the end, right, the problem is that you're never going to get growth to scale a Web3 game. So you have to have an understanding of Web2 onboarding. And this is why I get really, why I tell you guys like why I have a lot of conviction that Pixel Vault coin is not interesting, right? And why I think Overworld's coin is not interesting, right? And any of these ecosystem coins, right? I know it's very easy for people to think I'm just attacking Pixel Vault. This is a literally a breakdown of all these systems. These guys are trying to build tokens for non-existent games, right? Like why do we need a platform when there's no actual real Web3 games that people are playing? They're not, right? Like it's totally a weird garbage thing of a product experience. And this is kind of where these challenges are, right? Is that, almost everything in this space is close to trash because they don't know how to sustain the business model, right? They don't know where they're going to get their users from. They don't know where they're going to get their revenue from. And because of this, right, is like everything is going to be disappointing, right? I don't want to contribute to this disappointment. I want to build a different flow and strategy right? That is much more interesting. And I agree with you, Alka Jelsa. Like, there's no way that you're gonna get me to play a Web3 game when every Web2 game is so much better, right? It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care about So Rare. I don't want to play that. I'd rather play FIFA. I don't care about even FIFA Ultimate Team. I don't even play that. I just want to play a good core game, and that's a real life simulation game. These guys aren't going to beat it. If I'm going to play a PC shooter game, I'm fucking playing CS:GO, right? Why the fuck am I going to play your knockoff, shooter game that still sucks for the hitboxes and the balancing of characters? I'm not. Get the fuck out of here, right? So this is the only thing that, a lot of people don't recognize is that if you're going to build a Web 2 game for Web 3 audiences, it needs to be a casino game. If it's not a casino game, don't build it for Web 3. Build it for Web 2 only. That's what you need to do. And because of this, right, this whole market is struggling, right? And yeah, Naja, like, you're kind of right. We have more quote unquote traders than we do consumers. No one's looking to consume content right now in most of the way these things are designed. But this is actually why Tribe is so powerful. You guys actually consume here. You're actually real consumers. You have the ability to earn something, you have the ability to spend time, you have the ability to get rewards for that, you have the ability to go to other ecosystems and still come back. You're true consumers of an engine, right? And that's actually what's really interesting is that it's not just you guys with passive wallets, it's all of you with active wallets, right? And that's the crazy thing is that we haven't even minted and we probably have more active wallets than 99.9% of projects that have minted. Right? If you think about it. Like, you guys realize how many people have put wallets in the shopkeeper? How many of you guys are actively collecting relics? How many of you guys are showing up to active live events? Bro, it's a lot. It's a ton. It's way more than 99.99% of projects out there. And we haven't even minted, right? Which is amazing, right? This is kind of what our opportunity is that we keep layering this here in this kind of positive design, and we're doing it without needing to be extracted, right? It's crazy. How are you gonna yell at us when the combined season 1 and season 2 souls is less than 90 ETH, bro? 90 ETH, right? Is all we've taken from the core user base. And then again, even if you look at how much we took in for diamonds, which was 140 ETH, you're looking at 230 ETH of primary revenue taken to us with, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 ETH on royalties. I don't even know what the royalties are. I should go check that out. It's nuts, right? We don't even steal your money. You guys realize on that amount of money I just told you, that was 150 mints of elementals would have netted the same net ETH for both of us, right? Just 150 mints of elementals is the same amount of direct capital we've taken out from you guys. Literally 1.5% of Azuki's last mint is the total amount of capital this organization has taken in. Bro, that's nuts. It's nuts. And we're still here and we're still getting more active people and we're still scaling like nuts, right? And that's the kind of amazing thing about this is that you already know Oath and Reapers also have free mint layers. Oh, and almost every village partner we're bringing in is a free mint too. Bro, we are keeping your cost basis so low, so low on this front. It is nuts, right? This is so amazing for us, right? Because we want to remove cost basis. Dude, we could have. Bro, we could have extracted. I could have extracted this shit in the last bull cycle if I wanted, right? I could have brought $5 million in and then never deliver the game for a year and then be like, here's the game. But I don't want that. I don't want that weight. I don't have this weight on us. Do you know what's so amazing? Why do you think it's easy for me to move as a founder? It's because I haven't fucked you guys over, right? I don't have to, like, when I show up here, I'm not showing up like, I'm sorry, everything's down 90%. That's not how Tribe is working. Bro, our diamonds are up, right? Our things are growing, right? Our projects are up. And guess what? We've given you guys thousands of ETH, right? And already ROI to our community. The ratio of money in versus money out is ridiculous on this ecosystem, right? And of course, we're just getting started. It's still just going to be a bull. And it's not that we individually gonna make, the NFT space. We are trying to give our twist, right? A lot of people think we have ego here. We don't really have ego. We just have very hard opinions on dumbass people, right? Like if you're doing something stupid, I want to be very honest that we should like have a conversation of why what you're doing is stupid, right? Like, and then we learn from that, and then we get better at that. I'm not like straight up. Fuck everyone who tells you you should be bullish to support the community. There isn't a fucking real community here. I'm not going to be blind bullish on anything. This is what got us here. Break that system. Break that perspective. I'm not going to be bullish because you have bags in it. I'm not even going to be bullish if I have bags in it. Do you guys realize this? Do you guys realize how crazy that is, right? Like we are at an amazing, amazing inflection point because bro, I keep it real on everything. I know how important dimensionals was for our early liquidity, but bruh, I'm very honest of where dimensionals made mistakes, right? Literally where they made mistakes, right? I'm very honest about it. I'm not blind protecting anything in this space, right? And like everyone doesn't get that, right? Like how many people like, dude, I do something as minting. And bro, you guys know how aggressive we are on some of our questions, right? And again, we were almost too aggressive at one point, right? Because again, this market just takes it so negatively when there's actually real hard constructive feedback, which sucks. So what do? We then do now a private breakdown of the AMA after the chat, right? And give you guys 100% honest feedback. I'm not protecting the project just because they gave us a allow list. I'm going to protect you guys at every level. That's my only obligation here. I'm here to protect you guys. And if I could do that, I think you're going to see some really cool outcomes from, what we're building and what we're trying to achieve here as well. So, guys, I hope you can see why we're building in this way, why build mode matters, right? Why we are in a very positive position as an organization to scale. And it's because we have no baggage, right? Or we've at least removed most of the baggage. I'm sure, one baggage we hold is, oh my God, they're a time rug, right? Which was my fucking favorite thing to always hear, right? I'm like, okay, well, I'm okay if that's what you want to call us as a time rug, right? At least I'm not rugging you of ETH. You'd rather want me to rug you of ETH? You'd rather want me to go a short term pump and then push this? Right? Like, get the fuck out of here. Exactly, Wild West Crypto. The fact that people want to say time rug on a free mint that we haven't extracted capital for, and they're like, oh, you took 90 ETH on Sol. Oh, I'm like, yeah, we took 90 ETH on Sol that has literally only delivered over 2,000 net ETH back to our community. What has your community done? I don't know. Why are you giving me facts, right? Like, get the fuck out of here, right? Like, this is kind of the other fun thing about this market is that all these guys are going to have any opinion. And again, we have opinions too. It's okay. But none of them want to come up on stage and talk to us about it. bro, you wanna come, like, let's go, bro. Like, like I said, if you come at the king, you better come, correct. Like, you better have a lot of insights and logic behind what you're saying. And if you do not, right, you are going to get wrecked by me, right? I will wreck you, right? I'm not playing around because I will defend this community and the decisions that we're making, right? And if you want to attack, right, because of your perspective on what we're doing, like, cool, come in with your ammunition and we'll work it. But if you don't come in with the ammunition, you're going to get wrecked. You're going to get ran over, right? And that's kind of the amazing thing is that our challenge, right, is now going to be, who actually wants to build this space correctly. And most don't, right? Most do not want to build this space correctly. And this is the challenge is that we're not looking to be allies with those people, right? It doesn't mean that I'm looking to get into wars with these people. But like, bro, I'm not being allies with like, dude, I'll be very honest. There's a lot of projects we really don't want to be allies with because we don't believe they're building sustainably. And I'm going to keep that standard even higher. And, a lot of you don't know which those projects are. You don't understand them because it's hard to see behind the scenes of what's happening, right? All I can say is I'm looking at this chat right now. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Hold on. Wow, there's so many people. I have to go through 10, 11, 12. Oh, so we're 12, 13. Ooh, how many more? Okay, now these are just, oh, wait, hold on. There are at least 13, oh, 14, 14. There's at least 14 different PFPs represented in this community that if I held those PFPs, I would have floored them already, right? Because I know their projects are dead, right? Like straight up. Like I really would, right? Like of these projects, I would be already flooring them. Bro, like okay, like I mean, I don't want to give names, but I'll give you some names, right? Like I like you already know, like our boy slash girl, I don't know, Katie, bro, like Cool Cats, get the fuck out of here. Why the fuck is anyone supporting Cool Cats at this point? That team is super, super disappointing, bro. Like you don't realize how bad that team has optimized for. Sorry, Katie, on that front. Um, okay, I don't. I'm just saying, there's a lot here. I would be floored, right? And it's not because I don't like the art. I actually like Cool Cat's art. I actually was in one point in talks with Katie, uh, with Cool Cats, about partnering and potentially taking over that company at one point, right? Yeah, I don't know what happened to Ghost Boy. I mean, we kind of knew that they weren't going to build anything behind Ghost Boy, which sucks. Like it was just a pure art project, and that was a reason why most of us knew, right? We had to essentially dump that pretty early. Um, there's only a few projects here that I think are doing something sustainable, right? That you guys are rocking here at the moment right now. The things that I'm actually intrigued with is again, I'm a little bit worried about what they're doing long term, but shout out to Pudgy Penguins. I hope they could crack Web 2 licensing. That's a hard problem to crack, but I think they're doing interesting stuff. I would rock that in a heartbeat. Um, shout out to um I would probably put them in this category. Yeah, I mean, okay, I want to be careful with like the way I say this. Another project that I still think is worth potentially holding onto is um like in this market is grapes. I'm intrigued. Um, I don't know if I like the token, but the market's reacting well and they're market making. So give them a chance, right? Which is interesting. Would I be taking a large position in it? Probably not. The other project that I do want to give credit to, but I'm a little bit worried about their all BTC play now, is OCM. So on chain monkey, which is good. I think they work really hard, and I like Danny. I don't like the only Bitcoin narrative they're taking. I think that's going to be hard, but what Danny has done with OCM is really solid. Give him credit there, and they've built a really good community. I do like a lot of their stuff there as well. Um, outside of that, a lot of these things, oh, I don't want to like call out these things directly. Y'all get like this is the problem because then you get this snapshot of me saying fuck that project, right? And then that just gets echoed, and then I just start collecting any enemies at this point, right? I don't want too many enemies at this point. I want to just keep it straight with you guys, right? So again, I hope you guys find what you're looking for with these assets, with these projects out there. There are very few worth holding long term. I'm looking for projects that have real business models. That's it. Most of these projects don't have a real business model, right? I do not believe, Doodles has a business model. I do not believe Cool Cats has a business model. I do not believe even Clonex has a business model. Merch is not a business model selling the same shit over and over again to the same user bases, right? I don't think Azuki has a business model yet. I think Azuki has more than enough capital to figure something out, but they haven't shown it to us yet. The Gods doesn't have a business model yet. They're probably closer than they realize, but for some reason they're not prioritizing it as well. Apes do not have a business model, right? So I don't believe in apes. In the end, right, that's just the simple delineation between all these projects is do I believe there's actually a business model, right? Like Kaiju, there's not a business model. Pixel Vault, not a business model. Um, Huxley, unfortunately, not a business model. They could have made it a business model. I think their physical prints and stuff are really cool, but the way they're running it's unfortunate. I think they could be doing a lot more stuff, but just hasn't been there, right? Like this is not an attack on the projects. This is an understanding of how we value what a business model can be, right? And this is kind of where we're trying to sustain this and scale this as well. Yeah, I've heard about moon runners. I don't know enough about them, so I can't really scale this here, right, on this design. I can't speak to it, sorry, on that front. So I'll need to learn more about that. Profit 420, appreciate that. Yeah, White Armor, cool. They have their own Inscribe service. That's cool. There's a few of those services out there. The question is yeah, like is the business model sustainable? Does it have like profitable CAC to LTV, right? Cost of acquisition to lifetime value creation. And do they know their growth channels well? If they do, that's pretty interesting, right? And that can be kind of the upside here, right? Like, why was I a little bit, worried about, when utility, right, from pawns? I don't think he has a real business model, right? I know what he thinks can be a real business model. I don't think he's going to be able to achieve what he thinks will be a real business model, right? So for me, this is my pure perspective. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. But I do not want to own assets without confidence on their business model, right? If they're in the entertainment industry. If they're art, that's different. That's a whole different class of assets. But I'm talking about the NFT consumer industry. I do not want an asset unless I believe there's a real business model. That's it. That's it. I don't care about anything else, right? That is my new standard and my only standard, to be very honest, moving forward. So I think there are a few businesses in Web3 that are either working towards that business model and have an advantage. And this is also a reason why we do prioritize venture backed companies, right? It doesn't mean that all of our projects will be venture backed, But venture back has another advantage because they have more capital that was brought in from investors that allow them a little bit more time to find a sustainable business model and product market fit, right? And that's kind of the opportunity here for us. And what you realize, if you have a real business model, it means that you put a real floor, right, to your assets. That's what is actually the metric here to let you guys know. Buy assets that have defendable floors, not high optimized ceilings, right? If you could do that, right, you could be in a pretty interesting position, right, in the way that you're building your portfolio, right? So I want assets that I know aren't going to zero because they have a real business model, right? Those are much more interesting to me than those who could run hype cycles to get the highest short term output. Don't get me wrong, you could play the short term game and you could be that day to day trader and swing trade that shit if you want. It's just not what I'm optimizing for, right? And that I'm just sharing you my persona. I'm not right, I'm not wrong, right? This is just my strategy. Find your strategy, right? And that's kind of the thing in this builder model that a lot of people struggle with is that they don't really spend time figuring out their own like investor strategy, right? Their own collector strategy. You have to have a thesis. How many of you have wrote down a thesis? How many of you actually have built a breakdown of what you buy and what you don't buy that is independent of the influence of others? Have you ever written down like I'm looking for projects with these 5 or 10 variables and these are the only ones that I'll hold long term? Have you done that? If not, maybe you should consider doing that. You should go through that product experience as well, right? And figure it out. It does matter if you're doing the right traits. That's the big thing, right? It does matter now, and it matters more than anything now, right? So the key is that you have to make sure you understand why your thesis is built, and more importantly, right? Like whether or not it's something that will continue to maintain value. Because again, whether you be looking like you guys are talking about dimensionals, right? They failed on one element, right? Their lack of Web3 knowledge and let Web3 activity really hurt them, right? Once they essentially stopped being active, they lost everyone, right? And they didn't grow their user base, right? I mean, most people don't, you guys know like Tribe was 70% of their user base, right? We were the active people there. And of course, that's our advantage. We could take 60, 70% of our users active anywhere, right? But the real challenge is that most of these guys weren't actually ready to scale and be in the trenches for a long time. And it sucks, right? It's a really tough thing to get right. So you guys now need to reflect back and ask yourself, okay, what do I need to do? What you need to scale, what you need to get right. You need to be more conscious of your decision and making sure that you have your own conviction here as well. And the biggest thing you also want to understand is just the health of this market. I will tell you, anyone minting in this market, if they are not market making or have meaningful buy pressure behind, they're destined to fail. That is actually the most important mechanic or metric or question I'd be asking, right? Is anyone actually building, right, a understanding of growth in this market that will sustain, right? If so, what does that need to look like? And where is that going to scale? And this is kind of where the market still doesn't really have a good understanding of these questions because again, you need secondary market making and buy pressure in a market that's dead. And if you're not cultivating it yourself, right, what you're going to realize, very simply put, right, is that you're going to fade away to obscurity in this market. And that's what usually happens, right? A lot of people fade away to obscurity in these projects. So there's a lot of challenges here, and I want you guys to be aware of that, right? Because in the end, this market is still trying to find maturity. We are still a massively immature network, right? And because of that, right, it's going to lead to some real challenges and real structural issues that aren't going to make it hard for you to find wins, right? It's not really going to scale on its own. And this market's just not going to bring you buy pressure on its own either. And that's what a lot of these projects aren't ready for, right? Like, why are we also trying to be conscious of this as well? It's like, guys, we're trying to make sure that there's enough buy pressure, there's enough awareness, there's enough conviction, and there's enough utility on all of these elements to be able to get to a healthy level. Bro, like, if your project is minting something this month, your founder doesn't care about your community, right? Like, I'm gonna keep it 100%. If you are minting something in this market, your founder does not truly care or is unaware about how to care for their community. Because you are pushing something in to a black hole of death. Why would you do it? Why would you ever do it when there's no secondary? It doesn't matter if it's a free mint or a paid mint. Why would you do it? Bro, if I'm Yoga Pets, I fucking delay again in a heartbeat. In a fucking heartbeat. Right? I would do that in a heartbeat. It's not even close. Bro, I was telling the gods to delay. Bro, there should have never been a season 3. I was saying this before this, right? Right? I straight up told Weebox to delay. Bro, like why there's no reason to lean into this market. What are you trying to prove? Right? And this goes to this whole conversation I was talking about last night in my craziness with you guys. Why would you want to go against such a hard current, right? That's what these guys are doing. If you've ever gone swimming, if you ever gone to a creek, what is the worst thing is when the current is strong and it's pushing you in one direction. Going against the current is tiring. And if you make up one slip, you slip. Like, dude, I remember I once went fly fishing in a creek and the current was super strong. I was a young kid, right? And like the key was is that you had to really settle your feet in, right, in order to, be able to stay there and be okay. But the current was really strong and I just let up just a little bit because I wanted to switch the positioning of my foot and boom, I was swept off my feet. I was gone. I mean, I didn't like go anywhere that far, but I dunked in the water and fuck, right? It was a tough experience because that's the current, right? I remember, one of the closest times I ever came to death, like I was not that close to death, right? Was literally this was when I lived in Central America. We rented this nice place and right on the water and it was a private like lake with a stream and river and we were swimming with the current initially, but we had to swim against the current on the way back and we underestimated it. Oh my god, swimming against the current. Oh, that is, dude, guys, that is one of the hardest fucking things that you have to do, right? And there's a lot of people. I'm sorry to hear that, Adrian. There are a lot of people who do lose their life against that, right? And that's kind of this thing that you have to understand. That's kind of what this market is doing. So, what would have been the smartest thing, right? Don't need to go swim when this current was so strong, right? Or if I were going to swim, just stay on the shore, right? And this kind of stuff as well, right? And this is kind of what a lot of people don't realize is that you don't need to take these unnecessary risks. So if you as a founder are doing this, you're struggling to understand what your business needs to do. And really what happens, right, is the challenges. I should actually be watching the World Cup too. I'm sorry you guys are chilling here with us, but should have some fun here really quickly. Um, I think the big thing that I hope you guys understand, right, is that oh, why go against a current that feels like it is unforgiving? It's a current that we don't think is going to let up anytime soon. Right? Like, how many of you believe this current of a bear market is going to only stay for 30 more days? No one believes that. This shit is lasting for at least 90, if not 180, if not maybe even 360 more days. Right? Like, this is kind of where a lot of people don't understand this challenge. Right? So, what are we trying to do? I'm trying to shield you from this current. That's literally what we're trying to do. Right? I don't want credit for it. I'm just telling you the reasoning behind this. I'm trying to make sure that none of us get it twisted. None of us get fucked, right? On this front. And that's a hard challenge, right? Whenever we're trying to come out into this market and hopefully build something of value, build something at scale as well. And that's kind of where I think it's going to be a challenge when we have to be critical of the rest of the market. I want you guys to be critical. I want you to be asking this. And it's not that we are saving the entire market. I do not want that burden at all. But what I am trying to do is I'm trying to show you a path that might be more sustainable and probably worth the time. And guess what? While we are waiting, I'm going to give you access to everything else. And while we're waiting, we'll make it fun. The Reapers events are actually fun. The comic book events are actually fun. Some of these live audio events, you might learn something, right? Like, I know this has kind of turned into a fucking weird radio show of hearing my thoughts. But my thoughts are geared towards you. I hope you see that and feel that and recognize that, right? But what you realize, right, is that what you realize in this challenge and this design of this market is that in order to do that, I have to sacrifice quite a bit, right? It means that I have to be hard on certain conversations because that's the only way we're going to get to the truth, right? Like, what are we really running into as a general problem? Is, bro, you guys realize after this call, I'm going to get blowback from 10 different communities, right? Like, literally, 10 different communities will hear this one little small part of the conversation. Oh, did you hear Saint was shitting on you guys? You guys hear it? You feel it? He was fucking you guys up, bro. You guys don't understand. He was really taking advantage of you guys. Right? That's what's going to be shared, right? As a small little cut to all these other stupid communities. When in reality, the larger conversation is like, hey, these communities don't have business models. Saint doesn't believe projects without business models are going to sustain. Hence why he's worried about these projects. That's what should be communicated. But you know how the communication is going to go. Oh man, Saint was shitting on us. Fuck that guy. That guy time rugs. What the fuck? Why do we care? Fuck all this shit. That's what all this is always going to be because people don't want the truth, they want the convenient narrative. And the convenient narrative is either to be, is honestly usually to get upset. That is the convenient narrative that people want to choose. They want to fight. Bro, I'm too lazy to like legitimately fight these people. I just want to actually talk. I want to have good conversations. Bro, I don't turn down people to come to these stages. Bro, like really, come to these stages. Like chat with me if you want to really if you any founder has like legit founder, like that's working on a project that we even care about, has an open chance to be on our stage whenever they want. Bro, like I'm down. And I will come with my opinions and my perspectives. But guess what? No one shows up. No one shows up. No one wants to chat. No one wants to talk. They just want to talk behind closed doors. Motherfuckers are weak, right? Like, I'm coming and I'm willing to stand my ground, and I'm also willing to admit when I'm wrong. I am, and I've been wrong on quite a few things along this journey as well. But you know what? I will straight up come to any invited debate, any invited conversation. Bro, you want me to go to your community? That's fine. That's fine. I'll show up to your Discord, your Twitter Spaces, and I'll fucking bring our audience and give you all of this stuff here as well, right? But like most of these people don't want to actually have a real conversation. And that should tell you a lot. All they want to do is sling mud behind scenes, right? And close doors. That's it. That's all they want. I'm cool with it. It doesn't bother me. I know this is part of the game, right? But I hope you guys realize, right? Like, as long as you guys realize this is an open stage and they don't show up, what does that tell you? What does that tell you about those communities? Right? What does it tell you about what they actually really believe? When they're not willing to defend it on stage, do they actually believe it? Right? Or are they just trying to save face, right? To protect what they believe is their perceived value in this ecosystem. And what you'll realize very quickly is most of these guys don't want this smoke. Most of these guys don't want to actually share what's under the hood of their business. Most of these guys legitimately don't want to defend the bad actions they've taken. So if any of them want to talk, right? And dude, like you guys, dude, I have eyes everywhere. I have access to almost all these communities. I know what is being shared. I know what is being said. And oh my God, the amount of these people who are wanting to sling mud and not actually have a conversation is way too high. Right. And that's the thing is that it's cool. Like, I don't care if they don't want it, they don't want it. And if they want to talk shit, they can talk shit. It's cool. It's cool. Like, it really is. But all I want you guys to know is that they have access to this stage and I'll show up anywhere. I have never turned down a conversation, right? I have always been inviting to people here in this community, right? And we can do it. Well, Wes, tell us who the teams are. If they're relevant to us, of course. If they want to come in and have this conversation, they can come in and have this conversation. 100%. Bro, I'm not looking at it, but like make sure they're relevant teams that are worth our time. If they are, great. Like I'm in. I'm down. I'll do a 30-minute session, right? Like, cool. Like, we down. But most people don't really want to have this challenge and have this design and have this opportunity because I think most of them don't have answers, right? If I'm going to be 100% with you, most of these people don't have answers on what we're gonna talk about, right? And that's a tough position to be in, right? And I get it. So it's not like I'm gonna call them all out publicly, right? Be like, yo, I heard you said shit about me. Let's go, right? That's not me. But I'm gonna also just be honest with you guys though. It's like, yo, if they got shit, they want to clean it up. Come, let's do this. We squash beefs here, bro. Let's do this. And I think that's really important, right? Is that if we do this correctly, right, we're gonna be able to really have better dialogue and discord in this space. And that's what I want. I want better dialogue. I want better discord. I want better communities to be able to like share in ideas. Because wait, why have I been so hard on maybe ecosystems like Pixel Vault with my perspective? Again, I was never attacking anything in terms of what Pixel Vault has done. I've always praised their community as they've had a great community as well. But you want to know why I went really deep and be able to break down Pixel Vault, right? It's very simple. Was I'm worried that the Pixel Vault holders are going to get fucked again. That's literally what I'm worried about. They had to force bag hold one time already on this, and it sucks because these holders are actually very loyal, right? I'm really worried that they're going to be forced to bag hold a token that has no value long term, right? Like people are crazy. Like they're all blindly willing to believe in this, but there's a very, very, very clear like outcome here where and a very real chance that I think is much higher than they think of this going straight to zero, right? And this is kind of why oof, I get scared. Because, bro, if you get rugged twice by the primary community you love, right? And I don't want to say rugged. If you get underwhelming returns on the community you love twice in a row, you leave. Why you don't stay in this space, right? Like if someone keeps taking your money and takes advantage of your trust, you leave, right? You literally leave. And this is kind of the understanding that a lot of people don't understand is that this challenge is that we need to keep everyone in this space as long as we fucking possibly can. If we keep letting this space get rubbed over and over and over again, ugh, we're gonna hate our lives, guys. We really are. It's gonna be a really tough time for all of us here. So, I'm gonna wrap up here. I have one quick request for you guys. First is I'm gonna tweet something out real quick on the tribe one. I'd love for you guys to amplify it. It's for the upcoming AMA with Galaxus, which is happening in like about 6 hours or 5.5 hours. Let me just tweet this out. Something is minting with the Galaxus team. Galaxus. Excellent. So I'll give you a second. Genesis Mint. Small. Free. And small supply. Follow. Retweet. And add a galaxy emoji. Let's see. What's the galaxy emoji? What's the space emoji? Add a star emoji, maybe? Let's do a star. Star and Creston, Star of David. And add a medium star and add a star emoji in your comment to win a free guaranteed mint. Okay, sorry. There it is. Okay. Genesis asset, free mint, and small supply. Follow, retweet, and add a star emoji in your comment to win a guaranteed mint. Okay. Cool. I think this is good enough. I'm too lazy to like perfect tweets now. I'm too lazy, man. You guys are already there. I'm gonna copy this link here for you guys. Feel free to follow, retweet that. This is just a little bit of insight here. Galaxus is this kind of infrastructure team that helps projects launch, and they've worked with a lot of celebrities, right? They've worked with um, uh, like Steve Aoki, which I know is hilarious because he's our top signal on this, and a handful of other major like IP brands as well. They've actually I can't like publicly say this, but they have worked behind the scenes on one of the biggest launches in Web3 this year. Their platform was used to launch this asset. I think they'll unveil more about that in like a couple weeks. But the cool thing is, this is a small supply, free mint. We have very little supply on this one to be transparent, but we'll get a few into the auctions. Again, I wouldn't massively overbid on this either. It's interesting. But if you guys can, please like, retweet, and comment this. Help us just amplify in a little bit of a way. This is on the tribe account. And again, you'll have some chances. Love you guys. Already 50, 60 of you guys are doing it. I love you guys. There's 300 of you here. So come on, you lazy fools. Well, there's 400 of you here. Holy shit. Um, If enough of you do it, I'll give out the relic again. Go, go, go. Come on. If you guys are there, I'll give you the relic again if you guys push it. Come on. I want to know how many of you guys are awake, right? How many of you guys are awake? Tell all these people to do it. Add in. There we go. We're at 75 now. Come on, we're doing it. We're doing it. Come on, keep going. Repost and like this shit. Oh, I guess I gotta call it repost now instead of retweet. God, man, really? Elon's really trying to mess with my life here. Okay, you're almost there. Come on, get it to 100. Come on, guys. We can get to 100 out of 400 people here. Come on, slowly. Almost where 84 reposts. We're almost there. I'm gonna give you guys the relic again. 92. Here we go. Keep it going. Keep it going. Oh, it's almost there. It's almost there. I'll give you guys the relic again, but keep it going. Keep it all going, and I'll give you this one. Build something worthy. Build something worthy, guys. That's what we're trying to do here. I want you all to realize we are trying to build something worthy here. We're trying to make sure we're getting upside. If you guys already got the relic, amazing. You're good to go. I've just added out here as well for all of you who joined a little bit later. I like being able to have these conversations with you because this also helps me navigate some of the comms that are coming out as well too, right? So appreciate you all being here. Go watch the rest, right? Of the World Cup match. I think there's like 5 minutes left. So you should all be good. The relic that was giving here is build something worthy. So hopefully you guys all got that. It'll take some time. It's allocating, and there's a lot of people here, guys. There's tons of people here. So really love seeing all of you guys here. Appreciate 400 of you showing up for a spontaneous motherfucking event. Love you guys. I hope this gave you thought. I hope you realize I'm not attacking your bags, but rather giving you a different counter statement and value for this as well. And because of that, you're going to see a lot of cool ways that you could at least take our lens, accept it, mold it, reject it, whatever you want. Like, that's the thing everyone forgets. Like, I promise you, I want you to push back on some of our ideas and some of our thoughts, right? I want you guys to have your own opinions and come with it in different ways. And I will do my best to be able to give you guys more insights and my counter lens on everything I do, because that is the obligation I have. I want to make sure you guys feel as educated as possible in this journey. If we do it, I think we built something special. And holy fuck, this has gone on for 2 hours. So I'm going to let you all go, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. We shall chat soon. Bye bye now.